Class 9. Unit 2. Chapter 2. The Toilet. The author, Genome Lope. Sometimes I wanted to give up and be a good girl who listened to her elders. Maybe I should have done something like teaching or nursing as my mother wished. People thought these professions were respectable, but I knew I wanted to do something different, though I was not sure what. I thought a lot about acting. My mother said that it had been a waste of money educating me, because I did not know what to do with the knowledge I had acquired. I'd come to Johannesburg for the December holidays after writing my matric exams, and then stayed on, hoping to find something to do. My elder sister worked in Orange Grove as a domestic worker, and I stayed with her in her back room. I didn't know anybody in Joburg except my sister's friends whom we went to church with. I was very bored and lonely. On weekdays, I was locked in my sister's room so that the madam wouldn't see me. She was at home most of the time, painting her nails, having tea with her friends, or lying in the sun by the pool. The swimming pool was very close to the room, which is why I had to keep very quiet. My sister felt bad about locking me in there, but she had no alternative. I couldn't even play the radio, so she brought me books, old magazines, and newspapers from the white people. I just read every single thing I came across: Fair Lady, Woman's Weekly, anything. But then my sister thought I was reading too much. Soon I got a temporary job in a clothing factory in town, which made clothes for ladies' boutiques. I looked forward to meeting new people and liked the idea of being out of that room for a change. The factory knocked off at 4:30, and then I went to a park near where my sister worked. I waited there till 6:30, when I could sneak into the house again without the white people seeing me. I had to leave the house before 5:30 in the mornings as well. That meant I had to find something to do with the time I had before I could catch the 7:30 bus to work, about 2 hours. I would go to a public toilet in the park. For some reason it was never locked, so I would go in and sit on the toilet seat to read some magazine or other, until the right time to catch the bus. The first time I went into this toilet, I was on my way to the bus stop. Usually, I went straight to the bus stop outside the OK Bazaars where it was well lit, and I could see. I would wait there, reading, or just looking at the growing number of cars and buses on their way to town. On that day it was raining quite hard, so I thought I would shelter in the toilet until the rain passed. I knocked first to see if there was anyone inside. As there was no reply, I pushed the door open and went in. It did not look like it had been painted for a few years. The closed lid of the toilet was going to be my seat for many mornings after that. I was very lucky to have found that toilet because the winter was very cold. Not that it was any warmer in there, but once I'd closed the door it used to be a little less windy. Also, the toilet was very small. The walls were wonderfully close to me. It felt like it was made to fit me alone. I enjoyed that kind of privacy. I did a lot of thinking while I sat on the toilet seat. I did a lot of daydreaming too, many times imagining myself in some big hall doing a really popular play with other young actors. I would sit there dreaming. I started asking myself why I had not written anything since I left school. At least at school I had written some poems or stories in the school magazine and other magazines, and also for school competitions. Our English teacher was always so encouraging. I remember the day I showed him my first poem. I was so excited I couldn't concentrate in class for the whole day. I didn't know anything about publishing then, and I didn't ask myself if my stories were good enough. I just enjoyed writing things down when I had the time. So, one Friday after I'd started being the toilet's best customer, I bought myself a notebook in which I was hoping to write something. I didn't use it for quite a while until one evening. My sister had taken her usual Thursday afternoon off, and she had been delayed somewhere. I came back from work, then waited in the park for the right time to go back into the yard. The white people always had their supper at 6:30, and that was the time I used to steal my way in without disturbing them or being seen. My comings and goings had to be secret, because they still didn't know I stayed there. I realized that she hadn't come back and decided to sit down in front of her room, where I thought I wouldn't be noticed. I was reading a copy of Drum magazine, hoping that she would come back soon before the dogs sniffed me out. I was trying hard to concentrate on my reading when I heard two dogs playing, chasing each other nearer and nearer to where I was sitting. And then there they were in front of me, looking as surprised as I was. For a brief moment we stared at each other, then they started to bark at me. I was sure they would tear me to pieces if I moved just one finger, so I sat very still, trying not to look at them, while my heart pounded and my mouth went dry as paper. Then the madam's high-pitched voice rang out above the dogs barking. "Irene. That's my sister's English name, which we never use." I couldn't move or answer the call. The dogs were standing right in front of me, their teeth so threateningly long. When there was no reply, she came to see what was going on. "Oh, it's you. Hello." Then the dogs stopped barking, but they hadn't moved. They were still growling at me. "Please, madam, the dogs will bite me," I pleaded, not moving my eyes from them. "No, they won't bite you." "When did you come in?" "We didn't see you." "I've been here for some time now. My sister isn't here." "I'm waiting to talk to her." "Oh, she's not here." "I can give her a message. You go on home. I'll tell her that you want to see her." Every morning I had to wake up straight away, roll my bedding and put it all under the bed where my sister was sleeping. I was not supposed to put on the light, although it was still dark. I'd light a candle and tiptoe my way out with a soap dish and a toothbrush. I'd do everything and be off the premises by 5:30 with my shoes in my bag. I only put them on once I was safely out of the gate. Thinking about all these things took my mind away from the biting cold of the night and my wet nose, until I saw my sister walking towards me. "Molo, what are you doing outside in the street?" she greeted me. I quickly briefed her on what had happened. "Oh. What were you doing inside in the first place? You know you should have waited for me so we could walk in together. Then I could say you were visiting or something. Now, you tell me, what am I supposed to say to them if they see you come in again?" She walked angrily towards the gate with me, hesitantly following her. I mumbled my apologies and followed her in. By some miracle, no one seemed to have noticed us, and we quickly munched a snack of cold chicken and boiled potatoes and drank our tea, hardly on speaking terms. I just wanted to howl like a dog. I wished somebody would come and be my friend and tell me that I was not useless, and that my sister did not hate me, and tell me that one day I would have a nice place to live, anything. The next morning, I woke up long before the alarm went off. Some kind of pain within pushed me to do everything at double speed and run to my toilet. I call it my toilet because that is exactly how I felt about it. I felt my spirits really lifting as I put on my shoes outside the gate. I made sure that my notebook was in my bag. I was walking faster, and my feet were feeling lighter all the time. Then I noticed that the door had been painted, and that a new window pane had replaced the old broken one. I smiled to myself as I reached the door. Before long I was sitting on that toilet seat, writing a poem. Many more mornings saw me sitting there writing. Sometimes it did not need to be a poem. I wrote anything that came to my head in the same way I would have done if I'd had a friend to talk to. I remember some days when I felt like I was hiding something from my sister. She did not know about my toilet in the park, and she was not in the least interested in my notebook. Then one morning I wanted to write a story about what had happened at work the day before, the supervisor screaming at me for not calling her when I'd seen the people who stole 2 dresses at lunchtime. It all came back to me, and I was smiling when I reached for the door, but it wouldn't open, it was locked. I think for the first time, I accepted that the toilet was not mine after all. Slowly I walked over to the bench nearby, watched the early spring sun come up, and wrote the story anyway.